We're gonna give the wild one a shot. Have the order, meds on the way, but we need both.
I've always just been a very independent, very capable woman. It's just who I am. So that part wasn't a stretch. That was like typecasting. I learned how to trach. There were some simple things that I didn't get to use until, we were in the MCI, because a charge nurse is usually more like the manager of the ER, not actually in there doing stuff. But if it was an emergency like that, then they need me. So I knew some very basic techniques, squeezing an air bag, squeezing a blood bag, and hanging a line and hooking it up. Like I remembered that from the boot camp, but I don't have to sew anybody up, thank God. If your charge nurse is sewing you up, you have big problems. I'm a take charge kind of gal. I come from a long line of hard-ass women, but I've always just been a very independent, very capable woman. It's just who I am. So that part wasn't a stretch. That was like typecasting. I mean, that was super fun. I think Noah literally wrote that episode, and he literally wrote something like, her voice sounds like a gunshot going off inside or something. And I was like, okay. And they never told me to take it down. So it's pretty fun when you get to go all the way there. Plus, I have to give it to Kathy Sandrich, the casting director. The other day players that day were so obnoxious. They were so into their characters. They never stopped talking. They just gave me so much to work with. So, I kind of credit them with my volume, because they would not shut up until I, really screamed at them. There was a time when we went from the day shift to the night shift, which was right around when the MCI was happening last season. And there were a whole new set of extras and background players who didn't quite yet know how to operate the gurney. Plus, I think everyone felt like they needed to amp it up a bit because it was a mass casualty. That was really a little wild. And we all had to just talk about it and slow down, and kind of look each other in the eye as we were passing each other quickly, make sure that we were getting by each other. So that part can be a little bit tricky, but the actual trauma scenes are highly choreographed. In a way, a lot of the scenes are highly choreographed because they do those really long oners, as we call them, where the camera just moves with you through multiple rooms. And, it's kind of a Pitt signature. And so that has to be really well choreographed. Everybody has to really play well together. I have said it before, but I have a desk on set, right? I have a place that's like my spot, and I have these little drawers where, I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but where I keep my candy and stuff. And I have my actual stuff in there. And if ever someone was sitting in that chair, I felt kind of territorial, even though it's just the set. I was like, excuse me, why are you at my desk? So the set actually ends up becoming incredibly relaxing. It's very lived in, and we don't have cast chairs, and we don't really have much of a green room. We use the family room. That's the actor's green room when we're not shooting in it. And so the whole set, we just sit around and talk to each other. We shoot something, we stand around and talk. We might sit down, we might shoot something else. So it becomes so lived in that it just feels very natural. I think it really adds to the realism of the show. This little thought came to me before I started, which was that the key to my success, Katherine and Dana, was humility. And so if I looked at the role that I was serving the department, and that just kind of starts to extend outward. My perspective with every character was like, are you all right? Do you have what you need to do your job? And it's not because I'm a bleeding heart. It's because this is my job to keep this thing running. And if any of my doctors are effed up, or going off the rails, I need to bring them back on the rails. I need to get them what they need. And then I think I just tried to come to the job that way. The whole thing that they wanted was really like a group, was like a worker among workers, so that we're all equal no matter how long we've been doing it. And to lead by example in that way, it was really pretty easy. I like working with young actors a lot. I find it really exciting. And, often if you like people, they like you back. So it was also just sometimes there'd be a really nice scene that was written, and I just might go up to whoever it was before and just say I'm really excited about this nice scene that we get to do. So letting them know that I was looking forward to it, working with them as well. And it just was easy. It was easy. They're great. I love them. I love them all. They're really great. He's such a pro, the guy that plays Doug Driscoll, Drew Powell. So I didn't worry about that. I mean, he is a really seasoned guy. But what I would say about it is that I was kind of in denial about what I would have to go through experientially to play that scene. I think I looked at it. I used to be a professional dancer. as like a physical thing that I'm going to do. Like I'm going to go onto set. This person's going to throw a punch. I'm going to, sell it like this. I'm going to drop. They're going to have some notes, like fall more on your shoulder this way, do that. And it didn't click until we did it and he hit me and there's a camera on my face. And it's like, oh, I have to live through this. I have to experience this, which was kind of good because Katherine was a little bit in shock and trying to figure out, where I was in the same way that the character is. So I think it really worked for it. But, there's technical things they'll do. Like they might say, like, give it a half a second more air. Like, so you might get hit and it means like give it just a beat of like before you fall, stuff like that. And there's a pad, there's a pad and you might have a pad like on your hip or your leg and you do it in pieces. So they'll shoot you getting hit and then you're actually falling on a mat. And then when they get down on the ground, you're already like maybe on your hip and you're just falling into frame. The bruising thing was like a little bit of a thing when we first started it, but they got to where they could put that bruise on in 5 minutes every day. Like it became really, really quick. 5-10 minutes, she could get that thing on once she had her plan, right? And the blood, it wasn't that big a deal. That scene when Dana comes in, I think it's the beginning of episode 10, all bloody, that was a thing. That was really a thing because, I didn't really know how I was going to do that. To me, that's difficult work to pull off well. I really just knew that the truth would come from my body, like having it in my body. So I was literally like, I would start off camera on the floor and kind of just go from it. And they would put all the blood on me, make sure all the blood was right. And then I would just be on I would go from the ground up and just kind of imagine the whole thing from the ground and then come on from there. I'm glad it worked out. I felt good about it on the day, but like, it's one of those things where it's, never done this before. Here we go. Hope it looks real. I remember one time I went over to Fiona's and we watched one of the Fiona heavy episodes together. And it was just fun to like bond in that way and share that moment with her. Yeah, I kept Dana's piece of paper that she carries in her back pocket. I just thought that was like a fun little bit of trivia. I hope I still have it, but I think that I do in my guest papers. It might be something for the Television Academy or museum or something. The show goes on for years and years. You never know. For all the menopause ladies out there, I was going out I have one line. I've been flown to Pittsburgh to say, Robbie, got a college kid, respiratory arrest, coming in hot. I believe that's what it was. So the incel kid runs out and Robbie goes to run out after him. And then I have to go out after Robbie. And it's like slow motion, like I'm getting into a car crash. And then I just land and my body just did it for me. I go, Robbie. Yeah, acting during menopause. It's got to be Perla. It's got to be Amy Lynn. I mean, she is just the funniest. So I'm going to give her that. I mean, I don't know, but she's definitely the funniest one on set. John Wells doesn't allow sides. So on most shows, you have these little mini script pages and you can flip through them just to see what's going on in the day, but we're not allowed though. So it's almost like you're allowed to have your professional book, if you need to see something, but you're not getting any like cheat sheet. So I always have my script.
Thank you so much, Katherine. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.